Hello, Stephanie Zima here with My Way of Life Coaching. Today, I'm going to talk to you about how the nervous system actually impacts your sales directly. And that is not something that many people are actually aware of. And I wasn't aware of it for 8 years that I've been working online and working in sales, actually. I had no idea that is what is the main reason what held me back from the success that I could have had, right, for the long time. And today I want to share this with you and a little bit of my story because I want your struggle to be less than mine was. Because I truly believe that especially women need to have this opportunity to create extra income, to be able to get out of toxic relationships, or to be paying for their children's extracurricular activities, or to just have options and go on vacations and life energy and all that stuff, right? I mean, money, unfortunately, is something like with no money, there's no funny, right? Is that what we usually say? That is really the truth. And with all the gas prices going up these days, there's so many people that are having a side hustle, and I hope I can serve you a little bit with what I'm sharing that puts you on the right path, so that you don't have to struggle so much as I did. Okay, if you are new to me, I am Stephanie Zima. I am the founder of the Walk It Free Mentorship Program, where we heal, connect, and level up. And in that mentorship program, I help people become aware, the heal portion, become aware of what is going on for them, where are they at. And this does not only include business. That means we rebuild your identity. We rebuild what you're here on this world in this lifetime to be doing, connecting yourself again with who you meant to be. And then in the connect unit, we are connecting you with what your business could be like. Your ideal client. What is it that you're even wanting to do? What's your mission, vision, values? Like all these things we work on together. And then level up finally would be putting everything together in terms of sales training, online sales training, marketing. All of that stuff is inside this mentorship program. That is why it's an ongoing subscription, and it's going to be amazing, right? So if you are interested in something like that, make sure you hopping in, because the first quarter is over. So we are starting over a brand new unit of Heal coming April. So enrollment is open. If you are interested, we can also hop on a call and talk. So just DM me after this, and then there we go. All right, so let me pull up my notes here for a second. I want to make sure that I tell you exactly what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about the fight, flight, freeze in selling. We are going to talk about the fear of visibility. We're going to be talking about the emotional stability in conversations, because listen, if you don't have conversations and you are stable, you cannot build authority, and you cannot build a audience, right? And why healing supports scaling, because once you have a business, some of you have a business, but you still need to scale, and you need to be healed in order to do that, and how mentorship builds regulation weekly. That's what we're going to be talking about today. So stay tuned. If you need to watch this on a replay, YouTube has all my videos up there uploaded. There's a podcast if you like to listen while you walk or do something. Make sure you DM me if you don't have the links and you need the links. Let me know, talk to me. That is the best way to get information at this point. Okay, so let's talk about it. How the nervous system regulation directly impacts your sales. You have heard people talk about the fight, flight, and freeze, and the way how it plays a role in your selling is that if in selling you have marketing, a marketing piece, which is the posting piece, the branding piece, the I'm sorry, I have to find you back here. I cannot. Okay, there we are. So it's a branding piece where you post and you attract leads, right? Everything is with the purpose of lead generation. If you do not have leads, you also have no one to talk to, and then therefore you have a dead business. That is what happens to 80% of you that are through your warm market, meaning the friends and family that you know. You have probably talked to all of them about your stuff, but now you're out of people. Who are you going to talk to? And yes, your mentors are probably going to say, there's a lot of people to talk to. Go into the Facebook groups, go into this. And then you're going to sit there and say, yeah, but how am I moving this conversation about, right? I can't just spam people. Feels yucky. Like, it's energetically feels yucky to you, and you just don't do it. Because what happens in this situation, it is not aligned with what you are thinking about and how you're feeling. And therefore, your nervous system is starting to say, let's put on the brakes. This is a fight, flight, or freeze response. Fight would show up and you're blaming everybody and his mother, right? Then freeze would be you are literally procrastinating. You're not doing anything. You are just busy not doing anything. You sometimes are doing something, but you're not doing the right work. And that also is a freeze. And then the flight is the also finding something else that distracts you all the time. Like maybe your schedule is always full. Maybe you're procrastinating. Maybe you're cleaning or you're putting your kids' schedules beforehand, right? Those would be the flight situations. Some of you may have all of it. Some of you may do all of them at the same time, or maybe in different situations, you're having different versions of the fight, flight, or freeze. But that is usually how it shows up in your business. Okay. And it's because when you have your marketing piece and you are not aligned, you're being triggered. When you're triggered, boom, you are in this nervous system response and your body won't move. What is the solution to this? The solution would be getting aligned with what your marketing piece should be like, meaning really developing a personal brand that you love. For me, I love talking to people. I love talking to you. I love getting up in the morning and thinking, how can I help online entrepreneurs today? Why? Because I am so passionate of fighting for people. I am so sick in my pit of my stomach that there are so many stay-at-home moms that need an extra income and they don't have it because they are trapped somehow. And there are people that are drowning in debt and it weighs on them so much and they need an extra money. And then there's people that are in retirement and they just need to stand at Walmart for 8 hours trying to make money when in fact they could sell all their wisdom. They could sell every single thing that they have if they could just learn how to build an online brand and how to market it and how to put it into digital entrepreneurship, right? I am so passionate about entrepreneurship that that is something that I want to give people an option for. Okay, so here's the thing. You have on the one side, you have thoughts that are creating anxiety for you, that are putting you into fight, flight, or freeze. But if you align this with your passions and you give this whole thing a different spin, now out of the sudden you are able to find energy and peace and joy and all kinds of stuff that is driving you forward. You're going to get intrinsic motivation and it's going to drive you forward into what you need, right? You need something to propel you into the action. Now, fear of visibility is what pops in for many, right? When I talk about marketing, when I talk about how to build your content pillars, what are you passionate about? You know, the fear of visibility, for example, is something that really sticks with people. Okay, the reason why they don't want to be visible again is because of old paradigm issues. Maybe you've been told that children are supposed to be seen, not heard, but you are actually a very loud person, and somehow when you're hearing your voice talking to yourself on camera or on conversations or something gets triggered with you. maybe you are being judged by your family for all the things that you're putting out there, and they're like secretly not appreciating you being an entrepreneur. Or there's this big, that is what the big thing is for many, there's this big shame shield hanging over your heads because you haven't told anybody that you're in so much debt, that you cannot afford the things that you have, and that you cannot afford maybe other stuff. And so maybe you haven't told anybody this, and you are now somehow trying to wiggle your way out, and it's just you are in this situation where you possibly can't get out, right? um that a lot of these scenarios are actually very real for people, and they used to be real for me as well. They used to be real. I was in a toxic relationship, and I started realizing that, oh my gosh, I have nothing. I was a stay-at-home mom that had given up her career, and at that time um, I could not just jump back and forth. And then I found this online business where I thought, oh, well, wait a minute, this is something that could actually still give me and keep me going. And it was the best decision I've ever made, because when I needed a full-time employment job again to have health insurance and all that stuff, I had a seamless um, um, record of working and skills that I had developed and all that kind of stuff. So it was really a blessing in addition to everything else too. But that is what people are underestimating sometimes. So when you have a hater and you're afraid to post and you're afraid to reach out for information, you're afraid of doing the things, just always know they don't pay your bills. They are not there on the end of your life when you are on your deathbed, and you're going to look back at your life, and what are you going to remember? Are you going to remember beautiful moments with your family? Do you going to remember having experienced life? Are you going to remember working forever and feeling shame for having debt or having made wrong decisions or anything like that? What is it that you're going to remember? Remember that. Don't think about these other people who are secretly, and this is really what it is, when they judge you, they're secretly wishing that they could do the same thing. Okay? That's what I'm going to tell you for now. But that's also, by the way, a reason why you should be in a mentorship, because when you're in a mentorship, you have friends, you have people that you can talk to about these things, and you don't need your friends and family outside of your job. See, everybody has a coworker in the offices that they're working in, but when you're working by yourself as an entrepreneur, you don't have coworkers that you can water cooler conversations with, right? That's why a mentorship community, especially a group like the Walk It Free mentorship that is like low price, okay, that can actually really fill that bucket of having the community and having the people that you can bounce off ideas with. Okay, emotional stability in conversations. When you can imagine, just think about it, right? If you are dysregulated because you're stressed, because you have scarcity thoughts, you have doubts, you have overwhelm, all these things, when you're dysregulated, how do you show up in conversations? Probably not so good. I've made this mistake for so many years, so many years. And I was always wondering, like, why do I not have good conversations now? And it's because I would listen with the intent of selling. I would be listening and sending messages out with the intent of getting back from them. That was because I was dysregulated. Okay. I needed somebody else to prove that I was right, that I was good. Now, on the other side, is I know I'm good. I know I'm a good coach. I know that what I have to offer. I know that. And your approval won't change my knowledge about this. So when I have conversations, I actually don't talk to you with the intent of selling. I am talking to people in the intent of hearing, will they need what I offer? Will they benefit from what I have to give? Because my service is set in stone, right? I know that I'm an intuitive coach. I know that I can react very fast to a lot of people. I can react very fast to different scenarios. So if people are popping in questions, I can think of stuff on the dime. Like, I know what is great about me. So now it's a question for me to actually learn my prospects to hear, what do they need? Do they need that type of coach, or are they better off with an online course that they can do by themselves? Or can I point them into different directions? So I have conversations now with a sorting background in mind versus I need you to approve of me mindset. Okay, does that make sense? Let me know in the comments, guys, if that makes sense at all to you guys. But when you made it to this level of being regulated, being firm in what your offers are, being firm in how, that doesn't mean you're rigid, okay? When I say firm, doesn't mean rigid, because I'm still like water. I'm still kind of adjusting with the trends and looking and, like moving things around. However, I'm exactly like that. I am not going to get stuck by the rock in the riverbed anymore. I just move around, right? If I have a rejection, if I have somebody being mean to me, which I barely ever have, but if I do, then I'm just going to be like, whoop, okay, I'm moving this way. But I'm still flowing into the same direction as I had originally thought, because I'm very clear on what my mission is. I want to help so many people create those little support circles, because think about it. You want to hear my real big vision? My big vision, and you see on my logo, right? It's a circle with two people hands in there. The reason why I chose that is because that's exactly what I wanted to do. I want to create small little support circles, and it starts with the mother and their children. Okay, it starts with the mother and their children. They need to be healed. That family unit needs to be healed, and then that is your first little support circle. And then from there, you are going to be able to create more support circles. And can you imagine a world where there's so many different support circles and everybody is healed and feels at peace with themselves and with their lives? That is what I really would love to see. And that is why I'm here doing what I'm doing with the Walk It Free, because a lot of people are not healed. A lot of people are not even aware that they are reacting in a nervous system response. So, and that is not just for business, right? Business is obviously the way how we can make money, but this is something that is life transforming value for you when you are able to understand where your triggers are, when you are able to understand how that trigger impacts your life and the people around you, when you start gaining control over these triggers. See, when we've had trauma in the past, we are going to have trauma, and that always will stick with us. Okay, that is not being able to be put away. The trauma will always be there, but we can make it less. And we can also work with the triggers so that we can still have quality life, level up going forward. Okay. All right, so why healing supports the scaling? That is exactly what I'm talking about. When you heal, you will scale everywhere. You will make more conversations that are good and quality, and therefore you will have more sales, because when you have quality conversations, you are likely going to have a sale. When you are having unqualified fast messages, 10 a day, this and this, and without paying attention, you're probably not connecting right. And this season, especially 2026, is the year of trust. You have to have this authority. You have to be able to build trust with people, and trust does not just come easily right now. I mean, there's so much fakeness out there that you don't even know what is true anymore and what's not true. So that is one of the reasons why, when you are able to know about yourself, when you're able to create your own trust bubble, when you're able to create your own Walk It Free circle within your family, now you're going to expand this. Not just do you multiply it within your family and your children, but you're multiplying it with your team members, you're multiplying it with every person that you're coming in contact with. And that has a red line through customer retention, through acquisitions, through duplications, and so on and so forth. It just brings so much more quality to life in general. Okay, so that is why. And of course, mentorship builds that skill every single week, because here's the truth about us humans. We humans, we listen to something and we say, oh, that's so exciting, and that sounds really good, and we are all motivated for 2, 3, 4, 5 days, and then we fall off the wagon, right? And that is why mentorship programs mine is every single week. Every single week I check in with you guys. Every single week we are having Q&As. Every single week we are having a training. Why? Because I know that you start something and you stop, and you start and you stop, and you start and you stop. And we need to make sure that we are continuing to grow throughout these seasons, right? This healing, connecting season. Because it's not, let's be real, a brand does not just evolve and you decide on something today and this is how it's going to be. If you're anything like me, it's probably like 8 years in the making. you know, and it's like getting more and more and more. The more you take the messy action, the getting in, talking about it, getting your vision, feeling this, trying things on for size, and so on and so forth. And when you do that, that is when the beauty comes in, because that is where it comes from the heart. And when you have when you have a message from the heart, that's when you start really attracting things. Okay, that's it for today, my friends. Let me know in the comments if you watch this on a replay. And make sure you check out my YouTube or my podcast if you need that. And if you're ready to get started with the Freedom Mentorship, make sure you comment enroll or send me a DM. I'll send you the deeds. It's only $100 a month. No big deal. It's something that is going to level up your entire life. We'll see you there.